5 and the topic is fundamental rights and duties. Now children, have you ever imagined life without rules and laws? I mean, it would have been so nice if there are no laws or no rules to be followed. Probably life would be much easier, better. We can live as we want, we can go wherever we want, whatever time we want, right? And things probably will be easy or won't be easy. Now, life without rules will be definitely a big chaos. Imagine a game of football. If there are no rules in the game, what will happen? Probably there will be a lot of fights and the match might end up with a lot of confusions. Or let's say your classroom or school without rules. Anyone can enter anytime. Or if you are too bored with history class, you can probably go and play on the ground. That's so good, isn't it? But it will definitely defeat the purpose of being at school. It will definitely disturb the other students who want to study, isn't it? So rules are something which are necessary, and we need rules and laws so that things flow in a proper way without any confusions, right? So, or even for that matter, yeah, traffic. So traffic also we follow lots of rules. So without traffic rules, what will happen is we will probably end up in traffic jam and there will be a lot of accidents and all that. So when we need rules for all these things, what about a country? What about when a country is run? We definitely need rules so that country can run smoothly. And the rules, these rules are basically every country has its own rules and regulations so that the society follows it so that the country runs smoothly. And these rules are nothing but constitution. So every country in the world has its own constitution, whether it is a democratic country or whether it is a non-democratic country. Now what is a democratic country? Now India is a democracy. It is a democratic country, meaning the government which is there, it is chosen and elected by people of India. Now also there are some countries which are non-democratic like China, but they also have constitution. So every country has its own constitution which shows or tells what kind of country it is. Alright, now let's go back to the history of India. Now you all must be knowing about the freedom struggle, right? After decades, after years of struggle, our country attained freedom in 1947. Now our country was born through partition, which was done based on religious differences. The partition of India was a very traumatic experience for the citizens of both the countries. Now there was also another problem regarding during the when we got independence, and that was merger of princely states. Now of course we got independence, but these were some of the issues at that time. So if you look at this map of India, this is a map of India before the partition. Alright, now when the British decided to leave the country, the ones which are in yellow, they were under British rule, okay, these states. And the others which are pink in color, they are princely states, meaning they were ruled by the other ruler, probably the kings or the prince or some other ruler, and they still had hold on those states. Of course, they all were under British rule, but compared to, they were not fully under British rule. So when British decided to leave the country, they decided that the princely states would decide where exactly they want to be, whether they want to join India or whether they want to join Pakistan. So the decision was given to the rulers, which was also again a very big confusion, because to get whole of the states as one country was a very big task. All right. Now imagine if you were a citizen of India at that time during the independence, and what kind of country you would like to have. Now probably you will have a lot of differences regarding a lot of ideas, but probably one thing will remain the same, and that is equality. So every citizen of country need equal rights or opportunities, right? So all these things came in when they had an idea of independence. Now, after being under a colonial rule for a very long time, most of our leaders thought that democracy will be the only thing what we want. So the people are going to rule. People are going to elect who they want, who actually will govern the country. So what they did was they formed an constituent assembly. This was a group of people which was formed only to frame rules, because no one had an idea what exactly the democracy will be, how exactly it will function, all this confusion, and nobody had an idea of it. So they had to literally study about it, and that's how the country will run. So what they did was here. So they formed a constituent assembly in 1946, that is much before we got independence. Now what this constituent assembly did, now there were around 300 members in this constituent assembly, and these 300 members, some were elected and some were selected, okay, and they came from different backgrounds of society. Like there were people from like different religious background. There were Hindus, there were Parsis, there were Sikhs, Catholics, Muslims, all minority community, also the backward community. There were different people with political background. Okay, so different section of people were included in this constituent assembly. Now what these people did was they had lots of meetings periodically, and they discussed about the rules. They discussed about how to go about in setting the country's democracy. There were lots of debates regarding different things, and lots of things were decided. Also there were some women members, okay, around 15 women members were there before partition, and at that time this was a very good number, because during that time women empowerment, or women would not participate that much. It was far away, it was like a dream. So at that time women participating in constituent assembly was a really good thing. And of course, and that's how the constituent assembly went on. Now there were a lot of challenges when we got independence. And what were those challenges? The first challenge was a language. So when this constituent assembly, when different people from different sections, from different states came together, the biggest thing was what language they are going to speak, and in what language they are going to write the laws. Because as we know, we are a very diverse country. I mean, I don't think there is any country like us who will have so much diversity in culture, in language, in all different ways, right? So one major thing was language. So finally, after debates and arguments, finally it was decided that the constitution will be written in English language and then immediately translated into Hindi language. Of course, the next thing was the religious rights. As we know that independence, it came with partition, and with partition there was a lot of violence, a lot of unrest which was happening in the country. So it was a big challenge at that time, this unrest, how to tackle this situation, so that in our constitution everyone is considered, majority people, minorities, everyone. So this was another challenge. The next challenge was the country was not only divided with religion, but it was also divided with caste system which we had. So it was necessary at that time that every person of section of a society is given equal rights, so that they come up in life and they get equal opportunity just like the other people. Next was role of women. Now, as I just told you, that women at that time were not very active in different things. Most of the women were considered to be, they would stay at home and look after children and all that. So it was very important to give provision and even to educate women at that time. So all these things were considered in our constitution. Even the illiteracy was like too much at that time. Many people were illiterate, they were not educated. So education was also a key priority, and it was included in the constitution. The priority was given. So these were the challenges which the Constituent Assembly faced, and they had a lot of debates regarding different things, and they did not want to leave any section of society not to attend. Like every section of society was there at that time. So now let's see some of the facts of our constitution. So constitution, something, our constitution is mixture of different constitutions, meaning at that time, before we decided on our constitution, our leaders actually went through constitution of 60 different countries. Alright, and they wanted best of everything. So our features of our constitutions were taken from or borrowed from the countries like USA, France, Ireland, Japan, Australia, Canada, etc. Okay, our constitution is the longest constitution of the world, because as we are a diverse country, we had different provisions to be made. So the constitution pays attention to every section of the society, making it as the longest constitution of the world. Now, our constitution of India was handwritten. The original constitution was handwritten by Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada in a flowing italic style with beautiful calligraphy. And each page was decorated by artists of Shantiniketan. The original copies of this constitution, which are written in Hindi and as well as in English, are kept, in fact, in a case in the library of Parliament of India. And it took nearly 3 years to write it down. Not an easy thing, right? Alright, so now let's see some of the fathers of our constitution, or some of the people who were key members of the Constitution of India. The first one, Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was president of the Constituent Assembly, and he was also elected as the first president of independent India on 25th January 1950. Also, he was the only president who was re-elected for the second term. The next one is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. We all know him, right? So he was also a key member of the Constituent Assembly, and he was a key member and responsible for integration of the 500 princely states, to unite them together and form a united India. He was the one who was the key member. Then we have B.R. Ambedkar, and he's also referred to father of the constitution, because he was the main person to draft the constitution. Okay, the framing process and all, he was the key person. He was the chairman of the assembly, that is the chairman of the drafting committee. And he was directly responsible for preparing the draft of the constitution for independent India. After independence, he was appointed as the first law minister. Now let's see some of the important dates. Constitution of India was adopted by Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949. The 26th November is also celebrated as Constitution Day or Samvidhan Divas. The other important day is when the Constitution came into force, which was on 26 January 1950. And 26 January we celebrate as Republic Day. The reason why we celebrate Republic Day was because the Constitution came into force on that particular day. So that's it for this video. Next video I will come again with more facts and different rights and duties which are given to us by Constitution of India. Till then, bye.